Well, Joseph, it's all wrapped up. 14 golds, 14 silver, 17 bronze. A success or not for you?
In terms of New Zealand?
Correct.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the thing is, we won medals in 10 sports, which is pretty good. I mean, sports like gymnastics and wrestling, judo, boxing, weightlifting, not the heavyweight New Zealand sports, all coming back with medals, which has got to be good across the board. And we were a powerhouse in cycling, obviously. A couple of disappointments, though, Tom. You'd have to say swimming and triathlon were big disappointments. And also the netballers, although there were some extenuating circumstances there.
Yes, it was just a little bit of a flat finish, wasn't it? Because both hockey teams came up a little bit short too of our expectations.
Yes, I thought the men played pretty well. They lost a shootout and missed out on the medal, but I thought they probably played near enough to what they can do. The women were very disappointing. I mean, I think they were targeting a gold medal. They felt they were better than Australia going into it. But yet again, a New Zealand team totally froze in the penalty shootout, and they were pretty inept and came away with the bronze medal, and were pretty disappointed overall, I think.
Let's talk about some positives since we last spoke. Obviously, Valerie Adams was screaming hot favourite to win that, but you still have to go out and do the job. She did it again, a remarkable record she's established. Yeah,
she was miles below her best. I mean, 19.88, she'd be throwing 21 if it was an Olympics or a World Champs if she wanted to win. So she was below her best, but shows you how good she is. She still won by 1.5 metres, so she's that far ahead of the rest of the Commonwealth Games. But I must say, women's shot putting in the Commonwealth Games is pretty low standard. However, you can only win, and she's won everything and keeps winning it. So it's 54 in a row now, so I salute her.
You have to scratch around international athletic records across the globe to find a record that matches that. Moses, 100-plus wins, I think, in a row they mentioned, but not many athletes go through such a long undefeated period in all competitions.
Yes, there was a famous hurdler, Harrison Dillard, in the 40s and 50s, who had an unbeaten record of 90 or something like that. But, 4 years in the shot put in this day and age, I think that's pretty spectacular.
And let's talk about some of the lesser-known people who achieved well. Anton Cooper in the mountain biking. To be fair, very few people would have even heard of him. They have now.
Yeah, well, he and the fellow that came second, they're only 18, 19 years old. So that was not only a brilliant ride by both of them, but augurs very well for when they grow up. It's a coming sport, isn't it, Tom? I mean, it's sort of, to me, it's like the triathlon and BMX and so on. It sort of reflects the youth of today in a way, and I like it that we're at the forefront of those sort of sports.
And as we've mentioned in other sports too, this is New Zealand's time to capitalise, isn't it? Before, when it gets global, it just gets so hard for us to compete.
Yes, for those sports that we were talking about, gymnastics and weightlifting and boxing and wrestling and judo, to me, being realistic, this is their high point. They will not be going out, many of them, to win Olympic medals. They may hope to, but realistically they won't. So I think coming back with a Commonwealth Games medal for them is probably a career highlight, and they set themselves to do it, and they did it. And so you've got to give a pat on the back for that.
One sport I'm very pleased for is boxing, a gold medal there, a silver. We struggle to get amateur boxing teams together for Olympics at all, at least in the Commonwealth Games. We're showing some signs that maybe in the future we will have some competitors at the top level.
Yes, well, the guy that won the gold medal, David Mahira from Hamilton, is only 18, and I think he's going to be a tremendous boxer. He's sort of rangy and very composed, soaks up the punishment well and flicks out that left. He's a very good boxer. And David Light, who won the silver medal, is a more pugnacious boxer, but very gutsy. So you're very proud to watch those two, actually.
Yes, and we weren't expecting a lot from the boxing team because they have struggled in recent years, and they all did well. They got through, and many of them got through quite late into the stages. Yeah,
it was funny because the bloke that won the gold medal only got picked late for the team. I mean, he's only 18, so he's just come into it, really. So they were a very well-performed squad, and there was the men were. The women, Alexis Pritchard was disappointing. There's more height than performance in the women, but the men were very good.
And another little-known medalist, and might be forgotten quite quickly, but shouldn't, is Sally Johnson, the prone rifle gold medalist. There's no reason to believe that she couldn't perhaps compete at a high level yet again.
Well, she went out and won the gold medal, and she beat some pretty good shooters. She didn't do very well the next day in her competition. She was well down the tracks, but that day she won the gold. She was out by herself. So wouldn't it be great if she could replicate that at a World Champs or an Olympics, that sort of form?
You don't get every sport performing, but cycling runs away with it head and shoulders, doesn't it, in terms of return and also the prospect for more later in the future?
Yes, actually there was no aspect of cycling where we weren't great. I mean, on the road, Willemsen and Jack Bauer won good medals. The mountain bikers were great. The track cyclists were fantastic. So, I mean, they had everything covered. And you also felt that they were up against world-class opposition. I mean, it wasn't like some of those sports, I don't know, gymnastics as an example, where the Commonwealth standard is pretty low. I mean, the cycling standard's very high because England and Australia are fielding top squads.
And let's look elsewhere. First of all, on the issue of the integration of the para medals and para competition, are you happy with the way that they've done that? It seems a sort of a pragmatic approach to join the two together.
Yeah, no, I didn't think it worked here very well at all, Tom. I like the idea of having them combined. I like the fact that some disabled athletes are in the games. I don't mind that at all. But if you're going to do it, you've got to do it properly. I mean, the 2 gold medals that Sophie Petsko won were extremely soft because she was competing with people with different levels of disability, people who are far more disabled than her. So it'd be like having weightlifting and putting all the weightlifters into one grade. If you're going to do it, and why not do it, then they should do it properly so that the medals that are being won are meaningful medals, just like all the other medals at the Commonwealth Games.
All right, I want to talk about Usain Bolt because everybody else does. Has there been an athlete in your time, in track and field in particular, who's been such a superstar in terms of attracting attention, delivering on the day, and providing such a central focus for their sport?
The only person I can think of in my whole lifetime is Muhammad Ali, who talked very big and was a brilliant boxer as well, and a great showman and an attraction. And it's a real compliment to Usain Bolt in a way to say that he's on that level, because I never thought I'd see anyone who matched Ali. He's certainly ahead of people like Michael Jordan and Pele because they were just fantastic performers, but they didn't have the personality and charisma that Bolt brings to it. I mean, he is a magnificent draw card the whole time.
There's a little bit of a riff here, what we heard in the press about him not saying it was as good as the Olympics. It was a bit of contentious whether he actually said it. But you set that aside. I think he's just a wonderful ambassador for the sport. He gets the kids involved, and he seems to be a genuine nice bloke.
I'm sure he said it. I talked to the Times reporter, and she was emphatic that, in fact, the Times replayed the whole conversation. There's no doubt he said it. He possibly wished he hadn't said it the next day, but whatever, he can say that if he wants. It was, by the time he got here, it was raining quite a lot, I must say. He missed the first week when it was really hot. Yeah, he's a great draw card, and he very much enhanced the Commonwealth Games. Just even running in the relay, it was great to have him here.